Hello and welcome back to this edition of Burgers and Fries. I am Anthony, aka Desert Coyote 22. With me, as always, is Tony, TTBurger88, and TimberWolf, also known as Greg. How you guys doing, gentlemen?
We're fine here. This is a good one.
Would that be before or after you're tuxing you into bed?
Very funny.
That's right. Now, folks, if you're listening to us, all right, and you would love to chat with us directly, whether myself individually or in the group, please, by all means, join our Discord server. The links are in the description below. We are always happy to chat with our listeners and bring up whatever you want to bring up. And you never know. Maybe you might join one of our podcasts these days. So this topic is a hot button issue, it seems. Ever since the live action Little Mermaid trailer came out, all of a sudden, there has been a massive uproar. Tony, what is this massive uproar about?
Ariel is played by a black person.
Now, what's wrong with that picture?
Nothing's wrong with it. Look, let's go back to the year 1998 when they had that Cinderella movie starring Brandy and Vanessa Williams. Nobody bitched about that Cinderella was played by a black actress or something like that. So what is the big deal here? I'm right now, I'm not a big fan of these Disney live action remakes and stuff because I prefer the originals fine the way they are. And I even asked my boss, who's also black, and a coworker of mine who's white, and they wonder about, like, why is it such a big issue? I mean, and I brought up that Cinderella film where no one bitched about that. So what's the big deal here? I will not know. But this trailer got tons of dislikes on YouTube and everything. It's like they're acting like it's the end of the world. That's how crazy it's gotten, gentlemen.
Probably. You're definitely right. Now, the thing is, there was news about the casting of Ariel going as far back as 2019. Like, I knew for years this was going to be the casting choice of Ariel. And my initial thought was, okay, well, you know what? Usually when we think deep sea adventures or whatever, or mermaids, you're thinking Caribbean, you're thinking warm waters. It would make sense if a mermaid is dark-skinned. So it never really occurred to me that this was that big of a deal that, okay, Ariel's black. Greg, your thoughts on this matter for right now?
To be honest, I'm not going to make a big deal about it because at this point, this is just getting ridiculous.
Indeed, it definitely is getting ridiculous. I think if I had any complaints about what I'm seeing on the Ariel trailer, just the appearance of Halle Bailey, or however you say her name, as Ariel.
No,
what's her name again?
Bailey.
Halle Bailey?
Yes.
Okay. My thought was, why the fuck does she have red hair? What if you're going to make her African American, make her look natural? I didn't get the idea of you're changing the color of her skin, but you want to keep the red hair to make her look similar to the original. I thought this was about changing the appearance. So, and honestly, Halle Bailey would have looked way better if she was allowed to keep her natural color, because she would have looked like a beautiful mermaid instead of whatever concoction that they came up with. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
I didn't mind the red hair. I mean, like, I thought the red hair kind of matched Ariel from the live action movie.
But why does it have to match the animated movie? If you're already changing her skin, why are you keeping her hair?
Maybe an homage to the original version or something. Because you gotta keep in mind, there was also that live action Voyages of the Little Mermaid made that they usually show it at MGM and stuff too. So that a live actor with whose hair was red, so maybe they want to do an homage to that or so.
Who really knows at this point? But I'm just saying, Halle Bailey would have.
This is coming from some guy who went to Disney World a lot, so who went there like 6 or 7 times in his life. So just saying.
Okay, you're also talking to somebody who used to have an annual pass to Disneyland because it's only 30 minutes away from where I live. All right, I used to go there all the time, and again, you had the line of Disney princesses, and you have, sure, there's the argument of people that say, oh, but there needs to be more representation for Disney princesses. There need to be more people of color Disney princesses. Great, you already have Tiana, or whatever her name is from Princess and the Frog.
Never saw it.
Come up with new princesses of people of color. Is it necessary to change what has already been established for years? There was plenty of ways they could have done it, and then it probably wouldn't have pissed off so many people.
The question is, like, it's not a big deal, but people are making it such a big deal. It's just like, you might as well make a big deal. Oh, I got a perfect example. When I went to see a stage performance of Little Mermaid, Ariel wasn't in it at all. It was a girl named Melody, and nobody complained about that. It was very different than it was back then. Like, back then, no one would have given a shit, but nowadays, you got all these SJWs, all stuff that are going to make a big deal out of shit. It's like...
But there's always the side that is like, okay, you know what? You're right. Race shouldn't matter. We can agree with that. Race shouldn't matter, okay?
No.
But imagine if a white person was cast as the new Black Panther.
That will definitely piss off a lot of SJWs.
It would be an uproar. It would be an uproar for sure.
That's the double standard, and I think that's what a lot of people are. They're seeing this casting, they're like, but wait a minute, if this was the other way around, people would be grabbing their pitchforks over this.
Indeed.
This is not the first example of race swapping or whatever, as we might call it, all right? One, I think, atrocity that was committed when M. Night Shyamalan made the Last Airbender movie is having characters that are supposed to be Inuit and basically Tibetan or Chinese, played by white people. And then the people that were supposed to be light-skinned, played by darker-skinned. You know what I'm talking about?
It's also kind of like West Side Story, where it was a white person portraying a Hispanic, where they darkened her skin a little bit and stuff like that. I mean, nobody had a problem with that, but I'm sure if they did that nowadays, it'd be an uproar for sure.
The people that say, oh, what Mickey Rooney did when he was playing the Asian guy in Breakfast at Tiffany, that was racist. And
Never saw it.
Okay, but it's an infamous role that he did. You can look it up and then decide for yourself. But a lot of people nowadays, in this present-ism, will say, oh no, that's racism for what they were doing.
Well, I hate when they do that. No offense, really. No, it's just so...
Oh, even Bill Maher has already come on record on one of his new shows. There's a clip you can look up on YouTube where he's talking about people judging history by the standards now, instead of thinking about what was the way of life back then, what was the context, what were the rituals.
Present-ism.
Exactly. A movie that he brought up was The Aeronauts, which is basically about like people who some kind of famous hot air balloon milestone. I don't know the full thing, but in history, it was done by two white men. The movie that was made by Amazon has a man and a woman because, according to the director, oh no, they need representation. Women need representation. So Bill Maher hit it on the head. He said, that's great. Women deserve more credit for things they didn't do.
Yeah.
If he's calling you out on it, then you know people are just going past a line that they shouldn't be crossing.
Right, of course.
Of course, we can talk about a little bit about the female Ghostbusters. I think people would have been more accepting if it was a movie set in the same universe as the original universe, and these were descendants of the original cast, instead of it being a complete reset like they attempted to do.
I have no opinion. I never saw it.
But you remember the backlash around it. You remember the controversy around it.
How can I
where
not
if you had a different opinion on it, you were a misogynist. So much is the same way of if you're having a different opinion on the casting of Ariel, oh, you're racist.
When I first saw the movie, well, when I was in theaters, there was only 5 people that were there.
Only 5?
Only 5.
Whoa.
Yep.
No wonder it bombed.
And this is for Ghostbusters?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And again, there's also stuff about this live action remake stuff in general that people are just not liking either.
I'm not a fan of them because it's all CG looking and it looks awful looking.
And that's another reason why people didn't claim they didn't like the trailer, is because the CGI looks terrible. You have the shots of Ariel in there and she doesn't look like she's in underwater at all.
It's just more like she just sitting on a set or something, and it got fancy CGI effects floating around her.
Disney already did good effects on underwater effects. And then you have the DC, the Snyderverse with the Aquaman movies that made Jason Momoa look like he was underwater. So why can't the fucking top-notch animation company in the world make Ariel look like she's underwater?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to make this live-action remake. This is what I've noticed, and it's nothing against Disney, because I love Disney. I've been a fan of Disney since I first went there and watched the Disney Channel. I just feel like Disney is just running out of ideas. That's probably what it is, and it's just that they probably just are getting a quick buck and just move on to the next one. I mean, they've already done Lion King, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, and I can't remember. Did they do Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast? I can't remember. I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
I mean, it's only a matter of time before what they're going to do next. Peter Pan or the Aristocats. I mean, the Aristocats...
Well, Pinocchio's coming out, so they're going to do Pinocchio. They're going to do Snow White. They're pretty much going to do all of the old classics or whatever they perceive as classics.
I do have to...
Give them that whole live-action spin. I'm good with the reimagining like they did with Maleficent or what they did with Cruella when it was a different story that they were telling instead of a live-action remake. I was good with those.
Yeah, and I will admit that the live action of 101 Dalmatians from 1996-97 was pretty good. I don't know if Disney made that or so. And it's also the adventure.
They did. And you pointed out that there's already been Cinderella's story been done to death, and you're talking about the one with Brandy. Yeah, I remember the one with Brandy, and I thought it was good. Yeah,
and also Ever After, a Cinderella story starring Drew Barrymore, that was a good one too. That was like a kind of, and I admit the one with Hilary Duff in it, Cinderella story. That one, I guess I'm a little biased towards that one because I like Hilary Duff. That's probably why I was a little biased towards that one. So I guess I'll say that one gets a pass from me. But the one with Selena Gomez and stuff, yeah, not so much. And that live action Cinderella the remake one, not so much. But
here's the thing about the chick who played Cinderella in that live action remake is she looked a lot better playing Pamela Anderson in the Hulu series Pam and Tommy, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But I mean, did they do a live action movie of Beauty and the Beast? Did they do that one?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. But I just had to wonder, what's going to be after Pinocchio? Sleeping Beauty? The Adventures of Ichabod and Miss...
Well, they already did... Remember, they already did Sleeping Beauty. That was the Maleficent movies.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry, but what are we gonna do next? Like,
and again, you forgot that they remade Beauty and the Beast. That just showed you how memorable it was. The same thing is going to happen with this new live-action Little Mermaid. Once all the fire and the dust and the smoke is settled, it's just going to be another forgettable cash grab. And if anybody thinks that this live-action remake of Little Mermaid is going to outdo the movie that basically kickstarted the Disney Renaissance back in 1989, they're fucking delusional.
I know.
Ray, your thought?
And I was going to mention that, when you brought up Pinocchio, I heard it flopped.
I heard the trailer. Did Pinocchio come out, or is it just the trailer?
It already did come out.
Came out where?
It just only went to streaming. That's pretty much it. And for what the fans pointed out, it was horrible. I
didn't even know that it came out. That's how non-impactful these remakes are. The only time I really ever got into live action retellings of some of the old Disney fairy tales was the show Once Upon a Time.
I never saw it.
You guys ever? I used to watch it with my ex. I think we watched it all the way through. But
was that the one with the bell on it? Was that the one that had Belle?
The chick who was from... Yeah, in fact, it was the same writers from Lost that made the show, and there were some actors from Lost who also had roles in it. Like Elizabeth Mitchell played like the Ice Queen when they did their take on Frozen, and I loved their take on Peter Pan. The twist that they had. But again, they had really good twists on the Disney tales, and it was a live action TV series, and they did a hell of a lot better, and it was a hell of a lot more interesting than what they did with the actual live action movies.
I'm sure. It's gonna be the point where we're gonna remake all the live action movies like Mary Poppins or Bed.
They already did.
Or Bed.
Well, they did a sequel. They did a so-called sequel to Mary Poppins.
Well, they also do Bedknobs and Broomsticks or something, whatever that one's called, or they could do Lady and the Tramp or so.
They did Pete's Dragon. They did.
I never saw Pete's Dragon. So I don't know anything about that thing.
I did on a date with someone.
Oh, I know. It's a matter they could do the Three Caballeros live action. You ever heard of the Three Caballeros starring Donald Duck?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember there was a point that I heard, it's like Disney shouldn't be trying to remake the successful movies. They need to try to remake the movies that flopped back in the days. So the stuff from the 70s and 80s, like The Black Cauldron, deserves a remake so somebody could correct what they did wrong in those days.
The Black Cauldron was from the 70s? I thought that movie was from 1998.
The Black Cauldron was before the Disney Renaissance, dude.
Did they ever remake Alice in Wonderland? Because if
they did. They did, because it was like a Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter movie.
I'm talking about like did live action as a modern one.
Yes,
that's it.
Did. It was a live action Alice in Wonderland movie.
That was.
I don't know if it.
Oh God, that insults me. That's one of my favorite animated Disney films of all time. I mean,
Friendly Howdy Do. Alice in Wonderland is 2010. They were, and it definitely was produced by Walt Disney Pictures.
And there was a sequel to it, and
people only wanted to see it because they knew Johnny Depp was in it. This was before Amber Heard shit on his bed.
Or Mulan. Wait, did they remake Mulan? I can't remember.
Yes, they did. Remember that there was controversy over Disney filming in a province that had concentration camps for Uyghur Muslims? They totally did that. And not only that, but the Mulan end credits thanked the province or thanked the Chinese government.
Yes.
There was... You forgot about that?
I didn't even know about it because here's the thing. TV started sucking so badly. I only watched one show before this got canceled. The VH1 Top 20 Countdown, the only show I watched. And after that show got canceled, I stopped watching TV altogether.
So you didn't know that they did a Mulan remake?
No, I did not. I stay out of that. And it wasn't really well received either. It wasn't. I don't remember Mulan being that well received. They did the Jungle Book as well. The Jungle Book has had a lot of live action remakes.
They did do a Jungle Book one, and I remember a lot of people actually liking that one.
Well, do you remember Do you remember the Jungle Book from 1994 where Mowgli was like played by this like Asian guy?
Yes, they do.
Like, why was he portrayed by an adult?
Because they probably wanted to do a movie about him being an adult. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I just thought it was a sequel, so because like, you're not an animal, you're a man. I am not a man.
I haven't heard anything about Pocahontas being remade. I mean, as long as she's Native American, great. Imagine if it's a white person playing Pocahontas in that one.
Or anything about them remaking Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Oh man, I have to look that one up too.
Fucking A, shit.
I mean, and that movie itself, the animated movie itself, was basically a pretty mature movie.
The Hunchback? Well, I have the original black and white version.
Peter Pan. I guess there will be a Peter Pan one.
Well, there'll be
a Snow White one. There'll be a Hunchback. There'll be. I guess they're going to do one on Prince Charming.
I never saw that.
A Robin Hood one, a Hercules one, a live action remake of Bambi.
What?
This is from Collider.com, this article that I'm reading.
How can you do Bambi? There's no humans in it.
Oliver Twist? Well, they did... Dude, they fucking did Lion King, and there's no humans in that one. At least when they did Lion King, the cast was African American. The voices were. Because the lions are set in the Serengeti. Okay, no problem with that.
Any news on the Aristocats or so?
I haven't heard anything. Sword in the Stone? Might get one. Lilo and Stitch? Jesus Christ, dude. Disney, just do other shit.
Are they out of ideas or they gotta just like use that shit?
Oh, they've been out of ideas forever, dude. We know that.
Well, I guess
that's why they have Marvel to keep pitching them ideas, and we know Marvel is running its course. That's why they bought Star Wars to make a sequel trilogy that ruined a lot of people's love for the franchise.
And now that franchise is running its course as well.
Yeah, Marvel's really thinks that we can make a podcast about Marvel, how they're being milked and overdone these days.
Sure, without a doubt, that could be another podcast for another time.
You gotta tell me about it. Can you imagine if Disney decided to reboot Star Wars, like remake A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi? Can you imagine if they did that?
That's gonna be a disaster.
Dear
that
Lord,
would be terrible.
Me and Anthony are big Star Wars fans. We'd be offended and insulted by that. You know, that would be like, because like you said, enough that you got all those special editions, but this would really take the cake. Like, what are they gonna do? Have Luke Skywalker be played by a 10-year-old boy or something like that? Or
well, they already did that. They already did that in the Obi-Wan series.
That's different. That wasn't. That's not like the actual movies or so. And Han Greedo will not shoot first. Somebody will come in and knock the bolt on the head with a stick or something. But if they're gonna remake Robin Hood, please do not butcher that song. Robin Hood, Little John walking through the forest.
Well, I think this is either before 2020 is when Warner Bros. Said they were gonna remake Superman with a black actor with Michael B. Jordan. With the whole live action Little Mermaid remake, even the people of the black community are saying, Hollywood, would you cut this out already?
Please do.
Lots of people are saying, dude, knock this off. Truthfully, if Ariel being a person of color means something to a lot of young children of color, fantastic. But at the same time, I think we all agree, if you really want to keep doing stuff to represent them, make more princesses of color, not changing them.
I agree.
I get that they're fictional, but make more. You're right. We have a lot of white princesses. Make more black princesses. Make more Middle Eastern princesses instead of it being just Jasmine. So just assuring people that are listening to us, we have no issues with the casting. We've been detouring about the Disney live action remakes. But we truthfully don't have issues. We don't care about the casting. All we care is the movie any good? Are the characters any good? Are they compelling?
Can they act?
Awesome. Exactly. Can Halle Bailey sing? Yes, she absolutely can sing. And I think that should be the selling point, not the color of her skin.
Well, I was going to mention that, if people want to see a black Superman or something, bring in Icon and Steel and all.
And Cyborg.
Yeah.
Or Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
And the same thing with Black. And if people also want to see a black Batman or something, bring in Batwing. And also, Tony, when you brought up the Lord of the Rings in the last podcast.
That was me who brought it up. But yes.
Oh, yeah. Anthony, sorry.
Anyway, Anthony, same thing.
Well, at least one of you guys not named Pencil Dick.
Okay, so what about the Amazon Lord of the Rings?
Well, there was one thing I would have to say is that, if I were running the show or something, I would just, stick to whatever the source material is. I mean, from what I recall...
but did J.R.R. Tolkien describe all hobbits and all dwarves as fair-skinned?
Well, no, but I did kind of hear most of his stuff is based on Celtic mythology and all that.
Fair enough. But again, wizards and elves and creatures of all skin varieties, but God forbid a black hobbit.
I know what you're trying to say there.
We don't give a shit about the casting. I agree. You should stick to the source material as much as you can. I mean, there was the Netflix Troy special, which is about the Trojan War, and Achilles and Patroclus and Zeus are black.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is, but did I still enjoy watching the series? I did. Even if it wasn't that good of a series, I ended up watching it twice because there's nothing else on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, and also nobody is in uproar about the House of Dragon, the new Game of Thrones show. One of the lead characters is black, but he has white hair. No one's in uproar about that.
No one cares because they're just going to enjoy
because we enjoy it and because the actor is good and the character is good. Folks, we've gone over the casting. We've gone over our thoughts about it, why we ultimately don't care about the casting. We just want the movie to be good. We want it to make us pay the ticket to see the movie. That's the ultimate thing. And this podcast, of course, I think has run its course. Maybe we'll talk about Marvel next time. Maybe we'll talk about another subject that you can also bring up in the Discord server. Thank you for coming today, gentlemen. Thank you. It was fun recording. I'm Desert Kyler 22. Thank you for listening.